welcome to Seed Your Success Live. I am so excited, a little bit of a different conversation, but a timely and important one. And I kind of say jokingly that the dollar is toast and silver is money. And you're gonna learn very quickly in what exactly I mean. And we understand that our world right now is on the brink of, in my opinion, a much needed tipping point, which will drastically shift our lives in ways that we've barely even begun to comprehend. And this truly is a decisive time right now, which brings us together today with Eric. Now, it's my mission, and I'm sure it's Eric's as well, to shine a light on the incredible leadership in the world that has been helping create foundational systems that will not only bridge us between these two worlds, but also provide paths to greener pastures ahead in our prosperity, playing the long game. So to frame up today's timely conversation, here's just a couple facts about why it's important to look for investment alternatives. Now, the dollar has lost 98% of its value. And the national debt in 1980 was only 1 trillion. Today it's 31 times that. And finally, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the famous author Robert Kiyosaki states that the bond market is going to crash and precious metals will explode. So before we jump in, of course, I have a disclaimer, which neither Eric and I are financial advisors. We're not proclaimed prophets of knowing when or how things will take place. And today's conversation is just for learning purposes only. So we are making this for an educated decision on your part, but I know that we've taken ours on our part and basically extending a hand of trust. So if you want to learn more about everything that we're going to talk about, there's going to be links in the show notes so that you can tap in, and you are smart if you do so, and I'll again leave that in the show notes. Welcome, Mr. Eric Parrott. Almost rhymes. Welcome, my friend.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for this opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So, you know, this is kind of a heavy hitting topic because there's a lot that we could go through today. So there's, the way I kind of look at it is to really look at what is the importance of precious metals in our history and where it is and leaves us today as far as opportunity, and then how did we get here. So I'll just kind of preface with saying, you know, Basel III is something that was structurally put in place when we went through the last financial crisis in 2008. And this is an entirely different financial transition, shall I say. And so just as of recently, gold has come that tier 1 asset under Basel III, in which the banks are required to physically hold the precious metal as an asset. So this is just one component of what we're going to see as far as transitions with banks that don't quite make it. And then number 2, really who holds the power is who holds those precious metals. So Eric, if you can kind of just pop us off and tell us a little bit. We are both here representing a company today called 7K Metals, but how did you get involved? And then maybe we can tap into kind of the different types of precious metals, and then we can talk a little bit more about the opportunities that are at hand.
Sure. Thanks. I'll just kind of give a little bit of a bio of me, so to speak. I'm a 5th generation farmer rancher in southern Idaho. So being that way, there's been a lot of history passed down family, you know, from one to the next to the next. We lived through the Depression at the same place that I'm in. My grandpa had to deal with it when he was young, about 21, 22, that time frame. So he was really in that Dust Bowl era and kind of passed on a few things to my dad, and then he's passed on some things to me. And one of those was always kind of be thinking outside the box. What can we do in order to change not only ag or the way that we farm or where, but also try to just question things, always question things. What do you see? What can you pick up? When you read the paper, what are you seeing? When you hear this, when you read that, always start to question and look and see what in the heck's going on. And then kind of get to go with your gut or your feel. Look for some of the professionals, look for other individuals that may be trying to go against the grain. And in my case, we started really early back in '92, being an organic farm, and also we did our cattle organic. You didn't hear that back in '92. We were chastised back in '92 from our neighbors because we were doing something that they were had no idea, had no knowledge about what it was that we were doing, didn't understand that we were trying to become more sustainable. We were looking at our bottom line, and we saw that we just weren't going to keep making it doing the same thing over and over. That's the definition of sanity, doing the same thing over and over, or insanity, excuse me. And so, being that about a year and a half ago, I knew I needed to get into some kind of a precious metal. Something was bugging me. I didn't see the dollar keeping going the way it was. So I had started to purchase a little bit here and a little bit there, and sometimes I could get it within a week or two. And I think my wake up call was I bought a 100-ounce bar from a certain mint, and I waited and I waited and I waited. Price had jumped a little bit, and I waited, and a couple emails, and I waited, and all of it. And then it literally took over 2 months in order for me to get that bar. Then I knew something was a little funky with what things were going on. I happened to watch a video with a certain leader of ours that he also had just become a member of the 7K Metals company, and as a member had a membership. And so I got in contact with the leaders there. I said, "Hey, what do you have in the way of training? What can you do? How can I learn?" And from then on, it's been a full bore, honest, neat, team working experience where I've been able to understand the different kinds of silver that there is, the different kinds of gold, and also the different benefits that this particular company has, because they not only care about you investing and you getting into some kind of a precious metal to help you and your family, but they also have other packages that people are needing in today's world. They need health care. They need a 401k IRA plan if they happen to have one. I'm the kind of guy, my 401k is a four-legged cow that produces one calf a year. That's my 401k because I'm kind of a hands-on, like to see it, like to be able to touch it if I need it kind of guy. And so, but there's others out there, they don't have that ability. They've got it rolled into some 401k or IRA type thing. Maybe it's stock market backed. And so 7K is offering that ability to roll it into a company that has precious metal backed retirement packages. And then they also help with your everyday thing. They give you a savings discount app. Some people are literally earning within the first month by savings. They're paying for their membership. And then from then on, they can save and purchase precious metals with just that. So it's a bare bones approach for you to be able to start to gain a little bit more of your own wealth.
Yeah. You know, and something when I came into 7K, it was introduced to a friend of mine who, you know, we have studied the markets for, gosh, probably 10 years. And so when she brought 7K metal to me, what was so amazing for me is the easeability of it. You know, so as a woman who used to look at precious metals as hanging out with my grandpa and he would pull out his coins, I'm like, eh. So when I realized the hedge that we are against in the upcoming economy, the lies that we've been told from the financial market and the bankers who we still insist to trust, which I've lost trust with, you know, it really became apparent that this was such an easy way in, and it created a great onboarding experience to understand bullion, to understand the difference between silver and gold and collector coins, and how even diversifying those is a part of the game. But you don't have to, you know, and what you said was bare bones approach. And what I love about that is that when I would discuss it with clients in my chair, you know, they would talk about having a broker or things of that nature, or going down to your pawn shop. I lack of trust in society until you prove otherwise. And so the learning process and the easeability and the fact that you're getting dealer direct pricing just really locked it in for me. So can we go through kind of what differentiates, first and foremost, just kind of, what is the value in bullion, silver, gold, the collector coins, where that sits just really briefly, and then go over how this company has ensured that there is a supply in the vault, and you can also get it mailed to you if you so choose. And the process is very, very, very clean and very easy. So maybe we want to talk about dealer direct and then the differentiation between bullion, silver, and gold, and kind of what are the best assets to be investing in right now.
Okay. I think probably one of the number one things that has really stuck with me is even being able to talk to a person that was my sponsor, having her help me. I think the best thing that I was able to grasp of why 7K is helping each an individual is they already have a training program. And that training program, you can sit there and if you wanted to crash uh, that course and nail it all at once, you could do that. Or if you, like me, if you're busy and you could chunk it 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 30 minutes there. And what I found out was this basically, again, I'm going to simplify things to my understanding and the way that I understand them. Bullion is basically your defensive mechanism. So what that means is it can be bars, ingots, anything that hands-on, physical, you're passing it from one to another. It gets it gets your residue off your fingers, anything like that. It's something that can be from a mint, but not necessarily always be. It can be minted in a round or anything like that, and that's going to carry the value of whatever the market is. And earlier you talked about how the fiat dollar has lost value. One of the key things for me being an ag is I look back and in 1965, if you had 1 ounce of silver, more or less back then, you could consider that being a gallon and a half of milk. In today's world, that ounce of silver can buy you almost 8 gallons of milk. Now, can the dollar do the same thing? No. It might have bought you a gallon of milk or maybe even a 3/4 of a gallon of milk back then. Today, that may get you a cup if you're lucky. And so that's how bullion works, and that's the market. That whatever you're looking at the stock market, all those guys that are playing with those numbers and they squelch those things. And my belief is that the lid's going to come off of that at some point. It doesn't necessarily mean tomorrow, but that's just my opinion. And then I found out there is an offense mechanism, and that is those collectible coins. And what 7K has done is they partnered with a mint who has technology that is producing some of the best artistic coins that I've seen. And with that, they come with the knowledge of maybe they only make 100 of them, maybe they make 500 of them. And an actual low mintage coin in today's world is 10,000 coins or under. And that shocked me. I did not realize that at all. But a lot of these coins that they deal with are anywhere in the neighborhood of 100, 50 even, all the way up to maybe 1,000 or 2,000. So that makes them number one rare. The other thing that it makes is they created a little sister company to help with the ease of you buying and selling and looking for those particular coins. Now, it's a separate company, but at the same time, it's a helper company. It helps you inventory them, watch them, perhaps buy them from a member or somebody else that's just listed them there, or sell them also there. And doing that, you can watch your return on investment. And in the year that I've done that, I've watched my return on investment go in the neighborhood of anywhere from 10 to 20. Actually, a couple times it was at 25%. And you can't find that return anywhere else. So that is one other way that you can learn. And it's again, we're all learning. I'm a farmer. I've lived over 50 years on a farm. I'm still learning how to farm. So do you think a person that's dealing with gold and silver or anything else is going to know it all the time? No. but
Yeah.
trial and error, figuring things out. Guess what? I've come to recognize there's certain coins that people like. If I happen to be able to get one of those coins within a fairly short amount of time, there's going to be a good return on investment on that. And that's pretty cool because a lot of people have that opportunity to grab those coins at a fairly small budget and maybe gain a little bit of traction, have a little bit of return on investment. And so that to me, this company and the knowledge that I learned about Git, that's a plus because it not only helps me, it helps you, it helps everyone else that's out there who we've been told time and time again, oh, let the financial investors take care of it. You have it, right? Go knock on their door and say, okay, I would like to have my silver. And they're going to say, sorry, we just got it in paper. It's way over there. You're going to have to go get it if you can find it. Whereas this particular company, if I want it, I can get it right then and there. The really cool thing, and I think we're going to come up and talk about it a little bit more exclusively, is the Sound Money wallet and the future that it holds. But those collectible coins you can have on your property in your hand, and then they're going to have value and they'll hold that value. And to me, that's the win-win because you can have a defense, you learn about the defense, but then in this type of market, you have an offense.
Hmm. Yeah, I love how you put it
Did I
up
pretty
as,
much answer everything?
yeah, offensive and defensive. I mean, it really is both. And when we look at, so going back to Basel III and going back to the paper note, suppliers used to be able to get away with having it on paper, and quite frankly, many still are. And so that's where I think the professionalism behind 7K really comes, because you have some of your heaviest hitters involved in this company and others joining that names will remain silent based on legality, right? And so the
Right.
precedence of leadership here's what I mean by that. When you look at 7K and you look at short-term and long-term wealth, and this is what I meant with the preface in the beginning, is that we can't look at precious metals as like this short game, get in real quick and get rich quick, right? It's not how it works. And when I look at really studying it in the past, I have such reverence for those that are collectors, etc., because they have this patriotism to them. I love that you're an egg. I mean, when we got on the phone, I'm from a small farming, for an hour and a half, just about capitalism. And so when we look at precious metals and where they were founded and why we created them to back the American people on salience it went away. And so what's happening right now is, as we transition into a new banking system, which is to be yet seen, this is going to have such a precedence, meaning gold and silver. Now, with silver, what's important to understand, and you can add anything here, is that, gold is typically a little bit more expensive, right? And silver is very, very valuable because it's used in so much technology and different use cases. And I've heard many, many times, in fact, from Vic's Rear, that he is an expert in gold and silver, that we are coming down to very, very low supply. So if you go to another company or a broker or whatever you're investing in, you had told me about different cycles of rotation, where it's kind of like an IOU. Yeah, we're in the cycle of rotation, we're going to get supply, whereas 7K has an excess of supply because they promise you they will never run out. So I can trust that all the money I'm talking, other than my bills monthly, because the bank, if you remember, is 98% less value of the American dollar. Why would I put it in the bank? I'm losing money. So when that flip switches, my friends, listen to this. When that flip switches and we transition, this has been put into motion for very specific reasons from both sides now know that we need to transition into another banking system. And when that switches, the value of the suppressed precious metals is going to exponentially rise. And so if you think about, well, if I have $200,000 in Sound Money Wallet, which we'll transition into next, think about what that times 8 would be just by changing over and shifting the system. It probably won't happen that fast, but banks and suppliers are going to be coming to you, and you're going to get to mark your value, and 7K is going to be so highly valued that who is in now is getting the rest of the supply, right? So let's talk a little bit about Sound Money Wallet, and I do have a visual here as well. We'll talk about Stack and Sell as well as Sound Money Wallet. And to me, I love getting the collector coins. In fact, my mom, I've educated her through this, and she'll call me on Friday. She's like, did you see that the Lincoln is up? We got to get that other collection. Like, my mom is loving this, and she's a small town gal, and she's loving the process, right, of having ownership in her future wealth. So let's talk a little bit about Sound Money Wallet, and I'll hand it over to you, and then I'll show a couple visuals.
Okay. So I've been in a meeting. I've met the founders of 7K and good, honest, solid people. You can come right up to them. You can talk to them. Just salt of the earth type people. And you can pick their brain a little bit. And a couple of them are not really happy with Uncle Sam. And between them, they put together their heads, and they created, along with this company called Sound Money Wallet, they've created an opportunity for people to pretty much basically bypass a bank. Now, I asked the leader of the compliance team there when we were in a meeting, and I said, "So what can we call Sound Money Wallet? Because it's not really a electric wallet or a Bitcoin wallet or any of those kind of things. It is almost like a savings account slash checking account slash precious metals account slash vault, all for you. So your membership, which is just like a Costco membership, when somebody wants to go to Costco, they run over there, they purchase the membership, they're in there and they're buying their Cheerios, Wheaties, whatever it is that they need. The same thing applies with 7K. You have a membership, it's an annual membership. And you pick your membership that you like. As soon as you got it, you can go and get your things. Okay, so that type of thing is pretty cool. And then the other thing about the Sound Money Wallet is when you open that up, and it's a secured system, they'll ask for your identification and photo ID, and you have to move your face and you do all these things. They make sure you are you. And once you're there and once you're locked in, and then they've got that system figured out, then what you can do is take your fiat dollar, you can get it out of the bank's hands, get it into your Sound Money Wallet, and basically what you do is you're going to be in charge of your own portfolio. You will have pretty much like this great big piece of pie, great big pie there, and then it can be in 3 different colors. It can be your cash, your silver, and your gold. And at every given moment, 24/7, 365, you have access to all 3. You can do with it what you want. To me, that is a big winner. Now, what I mean by that is middle of the night. Let's say you got a check that day, like I got a cow check, and I know, hey, this is going to be some extra cash I'm not going to need to live on. I would like to make sure Uncle Sam and the bank don't get it in case something happens, and that's may or may not happen. We don't know. And so what I did is I got on my Sound Money Wallet, and I said I want to transfer from my bank account into my Sound Money Wallet a certain amount of cash. And let's just say it's $3,000. Okay. So I put that $3,000 there. As soon as that gets there, and it takes about a 24 hours, a little bit over, depending on if it's a end of the week type deal or not. But as soon as it's there, then it's available to do whatever you want. You can take with that Sound Money Wallet, and you can, if you like where silver price is right then, you can transfer cash to silver, and you can buy in incremental amounts. So let's just say you're a person that's on a very limited budget. You have $10, $15 and you want to get some silver. With that 10 or $15, you can get a portion of an ounce of silver. Whereas a lot of other companies, you get in there, if you want to get the cut rate deal, well, guess what? You're going to have to fork over 5, 10, 15, $20,000 to get that budget price. And
Right.
so it does not matter what you want to purchase. You can buy an incremental tiny amounts. Let's just say you want to buy, eventually your goal is to have an ounce of gold, but you can't afford $2,000 that day. But maybe you could afford $100 a month or $100 every 2 months. And if you have that little extra cash, you can just literally click transfer cash to gold, and you're purchasing that gold at that time, and it will be tracked always as to how many ounces of gold, silver, or how much cash you have. Now, what's coming down the pike is pretty soon, within about a month or two, there's going to be a debit card attached to that. And what you will be able to do, and that's probably one of the things to me that is just like, it just sends chills up on my spine, because you'll be able to go get groceries. You'll be able to go get tires, whatever it is that you need, just like a normal bank debit card, except this time you have something that's backed by gold and silver. And so where perhaps the dollar changes to notes or wherever we end up going, I've got something right now where I can take the cash I maybe need to be living on. It can stay in my bank if you want to keep it there, or you can have it in the Sound Money wallet. When we have that debit card, you can be using it. But anytime you have any extra, guess what you can do with it? Kick it over, kick it over. And you're buying yourself a little bit more silver, a little bit more gold, and you're in charge of it, not your financial advisor or whoever else that may be whispering in your ear about what you need to do. And it's going to be something physical at any point in time. And I've tested this. I wanted to have 50 ounces, 50 American Eagles, because that's what it is currently. Is I wanted that, and so I literally click transfer. I want my 50 ounces of silver delivered to me the next day. Here it come. It takes about 2-day delivery for me, and for most people, unless you're East Coast. But that's the cool thing about it. You can have everything that you possibly want. You can have it in your own vault that they have stored there, that's audited, insured, protected up to kazoo, so you don't need to worry about that. Matter of fact, I've told people that I'm within my groups, there's 2 places that I trust: my home and the Sound Money wallet. That's it. And
Yeah.
so, anything
And
that
you,
you're gonna be using within the store to buy some extra bullion or anything else, there's also no fees attached to that. Whereas
right.
other people, anything you're purchasing with a credit card, guess what you're doing?
Yep.
3% right off the top.
Yeah. And something
So
really
I could
that you
go
shared
ahead.
too when we were chatting, we were kind of laughing and we're talking about the food shortages, the fact that trains are shutting down, planes are stopping, sitting on the ground. There's something really valuable, and again, it goes back to capitalism, in that when you bypass banks, it's not illegal. And we're going back to true and sovereign systems. Okay. So if you and I are part of 7K and I wanted to buy your beef, we're going to look at that value. You're going to give me a price, and I'm going to pay you out of my debit, out of my stash that started at X amount, let's say 200,000. And then when we flip the switch and all of that suppressed silver then flies through the roof, I've got 10X of I can purchase cattle with, but it's going directly to you. And I don't have to pay tax on that. And it's a certified receipt. So, we're creating wealth systems, and I have a creator coin, which is on the blockchain, which I did for the pure purpose of learning how to create digital assets and create my own holding economy, because that's going to be the way of the future, right? So it's the same thing. I can offer utility to my community and they're paying me direct, and I'm not having to go through financial system that takes so much of my wealth, just the way things used to be. So that's a great value where we have an agreement between each other and we can determine that price and exchange through each other. So, That's just, it's such a sovereign system. Now, the Sound Money wallet, kind of closing that up, you guys, like, this was the reason I got involved, because if I can store my cash, and I've lost a lot of money in my life, a lot. I've also made a decent amount of money in my life as a solopreneur. I work my butt off, as you do. And this is less about emotion, but more about looking at the bigger frame, the bigger context, and where we're at with the systems that are being shut down, meaning toxic money. So if we go back to what Trump had said from the beginning, we're going to drain the swamp. When you really understand the amount of swampy swamp that there is out there, and what it feels like to be on the other side, none of us know, because we have been under the demise of control of the deceit of power for so long. So we don't know what it feels like physically, energetically, and spiritually to be unbound from the beast, right? And so these are the systems that I'm talking about that were set in stone, that backed by gold and silver. We've even talked about digitized assets. This is outside of 7K, so you can hold me accountable. That, the global banking system will be backed by silver, XRP and XLM, and gold. And so the world is going to run on this. And there's so much supply available based on what has been suppressed and hidden by banks, religious leaders, etc. So this has been in motion for a long time. And 7K is ahead of the curve. And they're actually creating the foundations for a long game. So I wanted to show just a really quick snapshot of Stack and Sell. Now, something really unique about 7K is, again, going back to digitization. So we even look at blockchain, we look at verification programs, things of that nature. I'm going to go ahead and try to share my screen here. And I'm going to share the image of Stack and Sell. So this is a website that you can go to. And specifically, Stack and Sell allows you, this is what you see when you get in the mail. So it's not just a bunch of coins. Like, look at the prestigiousness of how they pack these and deliver them with a verification code, all of that right there. And so Stack and Sell allows you each month, and any excess that you also purchase, to be able to then take to this website and you start stacking. You can also shop from this site as well. So let's just see if I can sign in. I didn't even think about showing my account, but let's do that. So you can see here, these are all of my different coins, if my internet works. You can see the value, and then I can also, sell these, etc. And so I just found this really so cool that I can basically bring it through this code reader. And if somebody on the market wants to go and sell my coin, they can't, because it's going to go back and track to me. So this also tells me 7K is really understanding the digitized process as far as blockchain and this kind of ordinance. You can kind of see all the collection here. So I just thought that this was really cool. Like, I don't even see any other companies doing this. So this is really awesome as well. Anything that you wanted to share with this?
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing, the nice thing about Stack and Sell, it uses the Sound Money wallet technology. So you're trading in between individuals and people. You don't know who they are. They're the go-between, so to speak. But
Yep.
it'll watch, and if you're doing a series, it'll keep all of the series together. So, like for me, for example, there's the 50 state animal series. I'm within 2 coins of getting it done. I've noticed that I think you had a couple of those state silver series, and
Mhm.
and just to go to show the value of what can happen on a particular coin, that Idaho coin that came out, I happen to be able to get it for $200 from an individual who's trying to do a quick fire sale. Current value of it is over $1,000.
Exactly.
And other coins like that, like the USS Arizona, the Abraham Lincoln series that you have there, There's things they attach the collectible coins. They just make them out of thin air. There's a story behind them. The
Mhm.
USS Arizona 5-ounce coin has a piece of the deck of the USS Arizona embedded into it.
Oh, cool.
The new
That's
Titanic coin is gonna be the new Titanic coin that's coming out, the last one of this series is gonna have a piece of coal from the Titanic that they raised up embedded into it. So they create history and rarity with those coins. Guess what that brings? Value.
exactly.
Same thing happens Mickey Mantle baseball card, Pokemon one of a kind card. Those are just paper.
Hmm.
And these are actual silver coins, graded. And that means that like a diamond, when it comes out of the ground, you don't know if that diamond's gonna end up on a ring finger or if it's gonna go into a drill bit till somebody looks at it and grades it. The same thing happens with these coins. The perfect ones or the very, very slightly imperfect ones that you can't even see with your eye, that's what 7K has the market on. That's their niche, and that's where the collectible coins are going to have their future.
Oh my gosh, my
So,
dad would love
and it's
this one.
all right. Yep. It's all right there. There you go. The Kentucky
Wow.
one.
Yeah, so amazing. Yeah, my dad grew up as a chuck wagon racer. He's a cowboy through and through. So amazing. So that's
Yep.
stack sells. So, a couple other things about what's inside 7K is they have exclusive jewelry that you can purchase. The rarity collector coins are there. They have a certification training program. Again, they have the private vault access, and you get credits towards your trainings. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. And it took the mysticism out of it and really created a non-emotional but fun emotional experience, knowing what I know about how the value is really going to exponentially rise within a very short time. And you and I had planned on this interview a little bit out because I'm doing a summit on how to prepare for the crisis in the market. And I thought we can't wait because we're getting really short on time. So it's pretty incredible. So as far as 401ks, there might be a couple people with questions about 401k. Maybe you want to just talk a little bit about that, and then we can kind of close up for today.
That's where my weakness is because I'm kind of that hands-on type guy. But
Yep.
7K themselves are partners with a company called New Directions. And so when you become a member, we guide you to that phone number, and that gives you to their person that is a licensed financial advisor because you're dealing with people's investments and retirement packages. They'll get with you, they'll look and see what you currently have or what you're looking for. And then if it's possible that they can take what you have, they will roll that over. Or if you want to start a new one, they'll do that. Except this time it'll be backed by precious metals that you can get through 7K at a discount. And so you tell them all the ins and outs of what it is that you like, and they'll point you to the particular package that you need, or, because everybody's got their own little thing, everybody's different. We're not, it would be really awesome if we were all the same type of person, but we're not. And so everybody's got their own history, everybody's got their own goals. My why, I want to keep this farm in my family, and I don't
Okay.
want to be a drain on it anymore. And that's why I'm doing this. Is that I want others that have the same similar goals. Maybe you just want to make sure that you have a legacy to pass on to your family. You
Hmm.
have one or two family members that, and I've dealt with this. I've dealt with a gal who has a kid who will never be able, because of health problems, he'll never be able to really take care of himself. He it breaks my heart that if I know that I could help that lady in her spare time that she's not taking care of him gain a residual income, that if heaven forbid that she passes, that residual income will take care of that kid.
Mhm.
That's what's cool.
It touches my
So,
heart for sharing that.
um,
It goes back to teach one to reach one, right? And this is really just
yep.
it's incredible knowledge. And just to kind of get a picture view, because I'm very much a visual person, I'll just kind of share one more piece here. So this is essentially, what 7K has to offer. It's kind of the full spectrum of member benefits. The way I explain this to my client, and I want to add in here, I did a live probably 4 months ago with two of my really good girlfriends who I study the markets with, and what I want to say here is urgency. And it's not out of fear. Urgency is when you feel that this is something that you could take a small, tiny little bit in and get a piece of, no pun intended, the pie here. It can pay you remarkably, but you also meet incredible people, and you're now on the wave of the future of our foundational fiscal leaders, right? That really honor trust, honor really true capitalism, and really going back to a nation that we, the people, are going to rebuild, right? And this is gold and silver, and really, this is just going to be a fundamental piece of the economy. So again, here's a picture of kind of all the different assets that 7K offers. And I urgency because I really want everyone to understand the closeness of where we're at in the market. There is really, I believe, little time that we have based on whether you think Jacera Nacera is on its way, whether you think, we're going to create a collapse in the market so that we can get rid of all of our debt. Whatever your belief system, it really doesn't matter. But what I do know is that if you look back to today, and there's any ounce of you that's like, this is probably an insurance plan that I can really understand and really get a part of, then I would take action today. And so there will be a link in the show notes. Is there anything else that you would want to share, Eric, just based on the market in general, just what you and I both know, and why right now would probably be an urgency moment versus let's wait and see moment as far as the largest transference of wealth in world history?
I happen to be on a religious mission when I was in a foreign country down south, Central America. I happened to be there when they changed their currency one day. They went from peso to pesado. I've seen that. I've seen how certain individuals didn't fare so well and others did okay. Um, the way I and then I look back at my family and how did we survive the depression? We had no debt. We had cattle. We had a way to feed ourselves. And grandpa had because he had no debt, he had machinery that could go and he could rent out or work or so he didn't have anything tied up into something that was paper. It was real value. And that's where silver and there's been some ranchers and stuff here in this neighborhood that at that time they did have some precious metals and were able to do that. But real estate also is also a thing that if you have it free and clear, boy, it is just a weight off your shoulders as a farmer. When you have a piece of ground and the bank can't come and get it, oh, it makes your world a lot different. And is there an urgency? Yes. Make that urgency up to you. The thing I always like to say is coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Mhm.
Um, boy, I look even 2 or 3 years down the road. Am I going to kick myself for not having done this, or am I going to be grateful that I pulled this trigger? Am I going to be hurt by doing this? No. I've got something that I put it on the shelf, and guess what? That's still gonna maintain value. It doesn't have an expiration date on it. whereas a lot of other things do.
Mhm.
And so, and the fact that I've been able to have a team, I really honestly have nothing to do with her business, except I am in it to try to help other people. And if I can take in this time to do an hour type, um, television type thing and let people understand anything. If I help one person down the road, 6 months from now, something happens, they blow a tire, and guess what? The only way that they can pay for it is with the coin. They can sell that coin, stack and sell. This has happened. They didn't have any extra cash. They needed the money. They literally got online, put their coin that they had purchased, and it actually gained value. They sold that coin to be able to pay for a tire.
Wow.
I saved them. And that's what I do. If I can help anyone, I will. And that's the mentality of my team and my people and anybody else, and getting to know Cass and everybody else that's a part of the leadership team. That's what we're in it for, is to help everyone, because what's coming, we're going to need everyone to help each other. So
Yeah.
that's my belief.
Yeah, what's coming, we're going to need everybody to help each other. So foundational, so true. And you're right. I mean, I reached out and I said, we got to get this out. And you raised your hand and you said, yeah, I'll do it. Let's get on. And you gave me an hour and a half of your time of two friends meeting each other, talking about, capitalism and touching back to our roots of farmland. I mean, this goes back to truly what America is all about, which makes me so excited about our future. I have no doubt, I have no doubt that what's on the other side of this is so immensive and so incredible and something we've never felt before. And I'm so happy that I get to get in on the transference of wealth with a team and a family that is really, really in it for the same reason. True patriots that really want to see other people rise. So with that said, my friends, thank you so much, Eric, for joining the Seed Your Success podcast. And my heartfelt summary in all of this is that I really believe that every person and family deserves a real chance to get ahead of the game. And not only now, but forever. And my mission is to really help everybody get started on the path that will really help you create financial independence, preserve your current wealth, and create an exceptional life through both good and bad economic times, right? So thank you so much, Eric. I think we'll end here and get the replay up and share all the links. And Eric here to answer any questions that you have. Please reach out to us. There will be a link. And again, it is a private invitation. Think of this as your ticket to Costco. And in my way I explain it is that when you create a program like this, is that it's not a vetting process, but for me it is a vetting process, because we want to welcome in people that have the same mind, heart, and future view of how to treat financial abundance. And it's not the old way. This is the new way, and it's aligned energetically, spiritually, and with a learning process so that people can be hands-on in how they create wealth versus passive and get rich quick. So it is a private link. It will be in the show notes, and you can reach out to me or Eric with any personal questions, because I can promise you there will be some, so don't be afraid. So Eric, thank you again, and I'm sure we'll see you soon in Telegram.
You betcha. Until we meet again.
All right. Thanks, guys.